Picture this. The lights dim. The crowd holds its breath. And here he comes, the self-styled magician in a red tie too long, waving a wand like it's an extension of his ego. He struts onto the stage with the swagger of a man who thinks gravity itself bends for him. Every word is a spell, every gesture a trick designed to dazzle. He promises walls so high you'll get a nosebleed just looking at them, tariffs so tough they'll make America rich again, and trillions in investment, as if he just conjured Fort Knox out of thin air. Coal miners back on the job, steel mills roaring like it's 1955, the middle class resurrected like Lazarus, and all of it free. Mexico's paying, China's paying, hell, the universe is paying. Somebody else always pays. The crowd roars as if he's pulled a rabbit from an empty hat. He leans in, promising $15 trillion in investment, with a flick of his tongue, spinning tariffs like cheat codes for the global economy. He makes the pain sound invisible, like you'll barely notice.
Do it to us, and we do it to them. Very simple. Can't get any simpler than that.
Groceries stay cheap. Gas stays steady. Factories sprout like mushrooms. It's a fantasy built on repetition and bravado. The more he says it, the more it lands. But look closer. The wand isn't gold, it's plastic. The dove in his hand, a dead pigeon spray-painted white. The magic dazzles until you blink. We've seen this show before. Remember Infrastructure Week? A running gag in DC, a joke on late-night TV. Every week, the week. Bridges, roads, revitalization. And every week, nothing. Empty binders, empty podiums, empty promises. Healthcare? He swore he had a plan. Better, cheaper, for everyone.
We're going to have a healthcare plan that's going to be second to none. It's going to be great.
Nothing materialized. The skinny repeal collapsed like a circus tent in a windstorm. Millions held their breath, terrified. And when it failed, he pointed fingers, blamed traitors, screamed betrayal. The wall? His crown jewel. Mexico will pay, the crowd chanted. And what did we get? 450 miles, mostly patching rusty fences. The bill came from our wallets. His victory dance? Claiming Mexico paid through trade deals. That's not a wall, that's a broomstick with googly eyes. The tax cuts? Marketed as salvation for the middle class. In reality, crumbs for families, banquets for corporations. The rich ate permanent cuts. The rest of us? Scraps that evaporated with inflation. And when growth didn't arrive, he shuffled the deck, blamed Democrats, deep state, whoever stood nearest. It's the same trick every time, a massive promise, the illusion of change, applause lines that feel historic. Then the curtain falls, and all we're left with is smoke. And he? He points to the audience, the courts, the elites, anyone but himself. The magic isn't pulling a rabbit out of a hat, it's convincing you that when the hat's empty, someone else stole the rabbit. Add to that the parade of forgotten promises, drug price cuts that never came, coal mines that never reopened, the greatest deals that were nothing but recycled contracts. Like a magician flipping through a deck, he shows card after card, none of them the one he promised to pull. It's endless sleight of hand with nothing to show for it but wasted time and mounting debt. Trump loves to lace his promises with pain. He primes you to suffer now for rewards that never come. Short-term pain, long-term gain. He repeats it like scripture, the weight of false wisdom dripping off each syllable. It sounds like discipline, like vision, like leadership that dares to make tough calls. But it's camouflage. The pain is real. Soaring costs for groceries, jobs lost, bills piling high. The gain? Forever out of reach. Always tomorrow. Always just around the corner. Families sacrifice, waiting for the sunrise that never comes. Parents drive Uber at midnight after losing the very jobs tariffs were meant to save. Small businesses bleed out, waiting for a boom that never materializes. Communities hollow out while he waves the wand and swears prosperity is moments away. It's like buying a miracle diet pill that makes you sick every day. The seller swears the results will come eventually. You keep swallowing. You keep waiting. Except this isn't your waistline. It's the economy, your future, your kids' future, sacrificed to a trick never designed to work. And the genius of the scheme is that he shifts the blame. When the promised gains never appear, it's not the magician's fault. It's the critics, the media, the elites, the traitors. Always someone else who ruined the trick. Always another excuse to keep the crowd waiting for the next act. To understand the magician, you have to see the wand. One of his cornerstone illusions is chaos, manufactured and staged to look spontaneous. He thrives in turbulence because stability kills the act. Predictability is boring. He needs you tense, waiting for the next shock. Tariffs one day, aid freezes the next. Agencies rewritten like furniture shuffled at a party. Allies confused, markets trembling, Americans holding their breath. He thrives on volatility. Chaos isn't the accident, it's the point, and it's weaponized. Confusion floods the zone until no one can separate smoke from fire. Institutions stumble, fact-checkers drown. While everyone chases shadows, he pockets the winnings in plain sight. Allies abroad learn not to trust America. One week NATO's sacred, the next it's scrap. Leaders hedge their bets, unsure if America will vanish mid-negotiation. At home, his base interprets chaos as combat. Every reversal proof he's fighting. Every contradiction proof he's owning the elites. He summons the storm, then convinces his followers he's the only one who can ride it. But chaos isn't strategy. It's sabotage masquerading as genius. A house of cards built in a hurricane. And sooner or later, even the magician loses control of the storm he conjures. And when the storm spills over into everyday life, markets dropping, retirement accounts gutted, grocery bills climbing, it's not just theater, it's survival. And Americans start asking, how much longer can we sit in the audience before the ceiling collapses? When tricks falter, out comes the Victimhood Act. Arms wide, eyes blazing with fake tears. They're sabotaging me. They hate you. I am your retribution. He doesn't just say it, he performs it. A televangelist pounding the pulpit, a martyr nailed to a stage. The crowd roars, intoxicated not by truth but by spectacle. It feels like belonging, like rebellion, like salvation. Every loss reframed as theft. Every stumble spun as sabotage. He never loses, it's always stolen. Defeat becomes martyrdom. Martyrdom becomes loyalty. His suffering becomes theirs. His enemies, theirs. His rage, theirs. It's alchemy, transforming humiliation into holiness, transforming collapse into proof of greatness. Convince millions every failure is conspiracy, and you don't just get loyal voters. You get a movement drunk on grievance, baptized in rage. A crowd ready to torch their own house to spite the ghosts inside. That's the trick. Not pulling rabbits out of hats, but pulling loyalty out of pain. And like a drug, the victimhood high demands bigger doses. Each outrage must top the last. Each loss reframed as proof of persecution. The cult grows not in spite of failure, but because of it. Failure is the fuel, and he knows it. But the spell doesn't hold forever. The applause softens, the chants weaken, the energy fades. People came for relief, not endless theater. They wanted jobs that covered rent, healthcare that didn't bankrupt them, schools that could hire teachers. Instead, Medicaid gutted, classrooms starved, seniors panicking over prescriptions, parents whispering about leaving towns hollowed out by chaos, voters yearning for stability but getting improv theater instead. Approval flatlines around 40%. The loyal still cheer, but the rest? They're restless. They see the wires, the trapdoors, the assistants frantically running behind the curtains. They wanted miracles. They got excuses. They wanted prosperity. They got turbulence. And economists are blunt. Recession risk, 40–45%, directly tied to his shocks and whiplash. Second term? That's when the grift scaled up. Wholesale, industrial grade, built right into policy itself. Tariffs weren't about protecting American workers. They were props, stage magic for the cameras. Investment pledges rolled out like red carpets, shaky numbers, recycled projects, exaggerated totals. Press releases glittered like confetti but vanished the moment you touched them. And foreign aid? It was no longer about stability or diplomacy. It was slashed, then dangled like bait in front of desperate nations. If you wanted American help, you had to play the casino. Hire the right lobbyists, pay the right middlemen, and maybe you'd get a seat at the table. Poorer countries shelled out millions to DC firms just to get into the room. Access to minerals, trade routes, even a handshake photo op became transactional. Every resource was a bargaining chip. Every promise had a hidden surcharge. America First became the cover story for America for Sale. Behind the curtain, deals were cut like back-alley hustles, favors traded for loyalty, policy leveraged for personal profit. From rare earth minerals to defense contracts, nothing was off limits if the price was right. And it wasn't just him. The circle around him, family members with shadowy advisory roles, loyalists placed in agencies, corporations close enough to the flame, all took their slice. Lobbyists fattened their portfolios, donors got their pipelines. Insiders locked down sweetheart contracts. Tariff shocks that destabilized entire sectors magically created openings for cronies to swoop in and clean up. What looked like chaos to the public was a carefully tilted table for those in the know. He wasn't just performing anymore, he was running a casino. The bets were fixed, the dice loaded, and every spin of the wheel was designed to keep the public broke while the house collected. And the house? It was always his. The gilded doors of his empire stayed open, humming with the flow of money funneled through the illusion of patriotism. The wand waved, the promises sparkled, but the winnings never left his pocket. The trick stripped bare one, announced something spectacular. Trillions, walls, tariffs, the moon. 2. Hit the inevitable wall of reality. Courts, Congress, basic math. Third claim, sabotage. Stir the crowd with rage. 4. Pocket the private gains while the public waits for a payoff that never comes. The wand dazzles, sure, but real wealth, real progress, doesn't come from smoke and mirrors. It comes from the boring, steady plumbing of governance, alliances, standards, funding, enforcement. The stuff that lasts. The stuff that doesn't make headlines but makes lives better. And that's the tragedy. The theater was spectacular, but while we were hypnotized, the foundation cracked beneath us. When the lights come back on, when the smoke clears, we'll realize the only trick was convincing us the wand was ever magic. You want to scream? Do it. Rage. Don't bottle it. Because this isn't just another show. This is our future, our kids' futures, siphoned into a one-man act. And I'll be damned if I sit silent in the dark while he waves that wand one more time.